Hello viewers, so today we are starting with the last application of derivatives, that is maxima and minima. So as you know, maximum means the highest value and minimum means lowest value or the least value of a thing. Today we are going to discuss here maxima and minima of a function. So let us just check it out. Topics for today: introduction to maxima and minima, local maxima and local minima, first derivative test for local maxima and minima, higher order derivative test, point of inflection, properties of maxima and minima, maximum and minimum value in a closed interval, applied problem on maxima and minima. So let us check what is maximum value of a function. So let us have a function fx which is defined on closed interval a comma b, and then fx is said to attain maximum value in a closed interval a comma b if there exists c in this interval such that fx is less than equal to fc for all x belongs to closed interval a comma b. In that case, my fx will attain the maximum value, and what will be that maximum value? Fc will be the maximum value, and c will be my point of maxima for that function. Is that clear? Now let us take the graph. See, for example, this is the graph for y is equal to fx, and this is the point c, and this is the point at which my function attains the maximum value. So x is equal to c, and this value will be fc. Okay, so in this case my function attains the maximum value at c, that is fc. Now let us take one example. Say for example, if I have fx is equal to minus x minus 2 whole square plus 12, right? So I know x minus 2 is whole square will be always greater or equal to 0, right? Now if I write minus x minus 2 whole square, it will be always less than equal to 0 because negative. So now if I add 12 both the sides, so what I am getting here, fx less than equal to 12. It means maximum value what my function can attain is 12. At what point? At x is equal to 2. So x is equal to 2 is my point of maxima, and the maximum value is 12. Is that clear? Now let us check the minimum value of a function. So now let us check what do you mean by minimum value of a function. So let fx is a real valued function defined in closed interval a comma b, then fx is said to attain minimum value in the interval a comma b if there exists c belongs to closed interval a comma b such that fc is less than equal to fx for all x belongs to closed interval a comma b, right? So let us take the graph of this function. It will be more evident. Say for example, this is my graph. This is x is equal to a, is equal to b, and this is the point c where my function attains the minimum value, right? For all x belongs to closed interval a comma b, this value will be fc. Let us take one example. Say x is equal to square plus 8, right? So I know x square is greater or equal to 0. Adding 8 both the sides. Okay. So fx is greater or equal to 8. It means my function attains the minimum value as 8 when x is equal to 0. Is that clear? So it means c is equal to 0 is point of minima. fc is equal to 8 is the minimum value, right? So just now we talked about two functions where the function just attained the maximum value or the minimum value, but there can be the functions where you can attain both maximum and minimum value. Let us check it out. Say for example, if I have fx is equal to sin x defined between 0 to 2 pi. So let us take the graph of this function. So here my function is attaining the maximum value, and this is the place where my function is attaining the minimum value, and we already know that my value of sin x lies between minus 1 and 1. So it means f pi by 2 is 1, 3 pi by 2 is minus 1. So it means my point of maxima is pi by 2 and my function attains the maximum value as 1. Whereas at 3 pi by 2 my function attains the minimum value and 3 pi by 2 is point of minima and minimum value is minus 1. So there can be a function which can attain the maximum as well as the minimum value. Now let us check one more function. So now I have a function fx is equal to x cube, and we know that this function is increasing function. How? Just f dash x is 3x square, and I know for all the values this will be an increasing function, right? Now I have defined my function, say for example on the closed interval minus 2 comma 2. So what does that mean? Since it is an increasing function, near to minus 2 it should attain the minimum value, and near to 2 it should attain the maximum value. But we cannot get the maximum or the minimum value in this case. So this is the graph of this function, and I cannot attain the maximum or the minimum value for this function. So there can be a function where you don't attain a maximum or a minimum value. Now let us understand the local maxima and minimum value of a function. So now let us check what do you mean by local maxima and local minima. Just now we studied about the greatest and the least value of the function in the given interval. But there can be certain points where the function does not attain the maximum or the minimum value, but in the neighborhood it can attain the maximum and the minimum value, right? So those points which attain the maximum or the minimum value in the given neighborhood is known as local maxima or local minima points, right? Now see what is exactly local maximum. So fx attains local maximum at x is equal to a if there exists a neighborhood of a minus delta, a plus delta, such that fx is less than fa for all x belongs to a minus delta and a plus delta, where x is not equal to a. Okay, so in that case my function will attain the local maximum value, or I can write as fx minus fa should be less than 0 for all x belongs to a minus delta comma a plus delta. Is that clear? Now if we are talking about local minimum, so exactly same way what we have to write, fx attain a local minimum at x is equal to a if there exists a neighborhood of a minus delta, a plus delta, such that fx is greater than fa for all x belongs to a minus delta comma a plus delta, right? Where x is not equal to a. fx will attain a local minimum value, or I can write fx minus fa greater than 0 for all x belongs to a minus delta and a plus delta, right? So this is about local maximum and minimum. Let us take one graph which will clearly tell you what is local maximum and minimum value. So now let us take this graph. So if you can observe, the points A, C and E are the point of local maxima, right? And B and D are local minimum points. So function can have any number of local maximum or local minimum points, right? So see here I can see at D the function is attaining the minimum value, but its value can be greater than the maximum value at A. So there can be the possibility that the local minimum value is greater than the local maximum value. And these points where my function is attaining either the local maxima or minimum value are known as extreme points, right? Or they are also known as turning points, right? See, after this the graph turns, okay? So the function can have n number of local maximum or minimum values, and those values are known as extreme values of the function. So the necessary condition for fa to be the extreme value is f dash a should be equal to 0 if it exists. Is that clear? So now let us check a method with which we can find out the local maximum and minimum value. So let us now discuss about the first derivative test for local maxima and minimum. So let f be a differentiable function in an interval I, and let us assume let a belongs to, so then x is equal to a will be point of local maxima if f dash a equals to 0, f dash x changes sign from positive to negative when x passes through a. Okay, similarly x is equal to a will be a point of local minima when f dash a is equal to 0. This is the same condition. Only the change will come here. F dash x changes sign from negative to positive. Is that clear? So x is equal to a will be point of local minima if a f dash a equals to 0 and f dash x changes sign from negative to positive when x passes through a. Okay, look here. So this is important point to be noted. Now there can be a point when your f dash a is equal to 0, but f dash x does not change sign when it passes through a. So in that case, that point will become a point of inflection. Is that clear? So third condition can be f dash a equals to 0, but f dash x does not change sign, right? In that case, x is equal to a is point of inflection. Is it clear? So this is my first derivative test. So let us check out this question. Find the points of local maxima and local minima and the points of inflection of the function fx is equal to x5 minus 5x4 plus 5x3 minus 1. And we have to find the corresponding local maximum and minimum value also, right? So first of all, we will find out the derivative of the function and the critical points, right? We will keep f dash x equals to 0. F dash x is equal to 5x4 minus 20x cube plus 15x square. Take out x square common. You can take out x square minus 4x plus 3. We can split it. Place f dash x equals to 0. This implies x is equal to 0, 1 and 3. So these are my critical points. Okay. With these points on the number line, I will check whether my points are maximum or minimum. So look here, 0, 1 and 3. Now we will check when x passes through 0. What will be the change in the sign? When it passes through 1, what will be the change in the sign? And when it passes through 3, what will be the change in the sign, right? Just pay attention here. When I substitute any value before 0, let us substitute minus 1 in f dash x and check which sign we are getting. So if you substitute minus 1, it will become positive, right? Because negative square is positive. Here it will become minus 2 into minus 4. Correct? Multiplication of two negative numbers is positive. So hence here it will be positive. Correct? Now if I take any value between 0 and 1, 0.5, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, any of the value you can substitute here and check what you are getting. So let us substitute half. This will be always positive because it is a square. Whether you substitute a negative value or a positive value, it will be positive. Now if I substitute half over here, half is smaller than 1, so I will get a negative answer. Half is smaller than 3 also, I will get a negative answer. Product of two negatives is positive. So here my 0, my f dash x does not change sign when it passes through 0. So what does that imply? X is equal to 0 is nothing but a point of inflection. Is it clear? So f dash x does not change sign when it passes through 0. So it is point of inflection. Now let us check what happens to f dash x when it passes through 1. So when it passes through 1, already we have positive sign over here. Now let us check towards the right hand side of 1. So let us substitute 2. When we substitute 2, this is positive. 2 minus 3 is negative. So multiplication of a negative and a positive will be negative, right? So from positive it is moving to negative. So then it is point of maxima, right? Since f dash x changes sign from positive to negative as it passes through, which number it is passes through? 1. Which critical point it is passes through? 1, right? So it is point of maxima. So x is equal to 1 is point of local maxima. Is it clear? Now we have to check for 3. Already we have minus sign from the left of 3. Now let us check to the right of 3. 4. So if you substitute 4, 4 minus 1 is 3 positive, 4 minus 3 is 1 positive. Multiplication of 2 positive is positive. So I am getting here positive. So now in this case, since f dash x changes sign from, look here, negative to positive as it passes through 3, right? So this implies x is equal to 3 is point of local minima. Now they have asked us find the corresponding local maximum and minimum value, right? So local maximum value is nothing but f. This is your 1. Substitute in the function, not in f dash x. In function you have to substitute f1, right? Which is nothing but 1 to the power 5 is 1, minus 5 plus 5 minus 1 to 0. Now local minimum value is f3. So 3 to the power 5 minus 5 into 3 to the power 4 plus 5, 3 to the power 3 minus 1 will get minus 28. So whenever we have to find the maximum minimum value, you have to substitute the point of local maxima and local minima in the function. Okay? Let us check this question. Find the local maxima or minima, if any, of the function fx is equal to sin x plus cos x when your x lies between 0 and pi by 2 using the first derivative test. So whenever we are talking about a local maxima and minima using first derivative test, first step is we have to find f dash x. So fx is sin x plus cos x. F dash x cos x minus sin x. Now we have to find the critical points. Okay. So for critical points we keep f dash x equals to 0. Right. Now they have given us the range that x lies between 0 and pi by 2 and 10x is equal to 1 at only one point in this range. So x is equal to pi by 4. Now we have to check whether x is equal to pi by 4 is point of local maxima or local minima. Okay. So let us check what happens to the sign for f dash x when it passes through pi by 4. So now if we take any value before pi by 4, that is pi by 6. So if I substitute pi by 6 here, right? So let us check f dash pi by 6. Cos pi by 6 minus sin pi by 6. Cos pi by 6 is root 3 by 2 minus, so it means positive. Let us check what happens when we substitute a value on the right hand side of the pi by 4. So f dash pi by 3, cos pi by 3 minus sin pi by 3. Cos pi by 3 is 1 by 2 minus root 3 by 2 means less than 0. So negative. It means f dash x changes positive to negative as it passes through pi by 4. It means x is equal to pi by 4 is point of local maxima. Okay, and we have to find the local maximum value in that case. So f pi by 4, f pi by 4 will be sin pi by 4 plus cos pi by 4, which is nothing but root 2. So this is all about the first derivative test. Now we'll start with the second derivative test. Just now we studied the first derivative test and it was little tedious to find out the points of maxima and minima because the change in the sign to observe as the x increases through the point was slightly difficult. So now there is another test, that is higher order derivative test. So what exactly is the test? Let f be a differentiable function in the interval I and let c be any point in that interval. So then f dash c equals to f double dash c equals to f triple dash c and so on equals to f n minus 1 c is equal to 0. And f and c exist and is non-zero, then if n is even, means the derivative, how many times we have found the derivative, that we have to check. If n is even and f and c is less than 0, in that case C is point of maxima. Is that clear? If n is even and Fn C is greater than 0, then C is point of minima. If n is odd, then x is equal to C is neither point of maxima nor minima. Is that clear? So what the higher order derivatives test says that we should have a differentiable function on an interval and let C be any point in the interior of that interval, and the derivative exists f dash c, f double dash c, f triple dash c, and f dash n minus 1 c is equal to 0. F and c exists and is non-zero. In that case, how you will find out whether x is equal to c is point of maxima or minima? You have to check this part. N is even and f and c should be less than 0. Means the nth derivative of the function should be less than 0. In that case, c is a point of maxima. If n is even and nth derivative is greater than 0, then x is equal to c is a point of minima. But if your n is odd, in that case x is equal to c will be neither the point of maxima nor the point of minima. Right? Now let us check the algorithm how to find the maximum and minimum value. So first of all, you have to find f dash x. Keep f dash x equal to 0. Find the critical points or the stationary points which can be the point of maxima or minima. And after that, what we have to do? We have to substitute those points in the second derivative, means f double dash x. Right? After substituting those points is f double dash x, we have to check whether the value we got from f double dash x is less than 0 or greater than 0. If it is less than 0, it means it is a point of maxima. If it is greater than 0, it means it is a point of minima. In the case it becomes equal to 0, we will find f triple dash, will check after substituting, are we getting it equal to 0 or not. If we are getting not equal to 0, it means x is equal to c is the point of inflection, neither maximum nor minimum. Is that clear? But if it is equal to 0, what you are going to do? You will find f4. Again, the same procedure we are going to check as we have done for the f double dash x. So guys, just now we understood how to find out a point of maxima, point of minima and point of inflection. Now exactly what is point of inflection? So it is a point at which curve changes from concave upward to concave downwards or vice versa. It can be concave downwards to concave upwards. Now what is exactly concave downward and concave upwards? Let us check through the graph. So when we say concave upward, it means the arc of the curve y is equal to fx. If at each of its point, it lies above the tangent at that point. Now what does that mean? It means I have a point of inflection, right? This is my curve and this is my tangent at the point of inflection. So the curve lies above that. So this is nothing but concave upward, or this can be the case in the concave upward. Exactly opposite is concave downward. The arc y is equal to fx is said to be concave downward if at each point the arc lies below the tangent, right? So in that case, this is the tangent. So in this, my curve is concave downward. In this, my curve is concave upward. So to find concave upward, we have f double dash x greater than 0. In concave downward, it is f double dash x less than 0. Is that clear? And in this case, my function will be increasing. In this case, my function will be decreasing. Now let us check some properties on maxima and minima. If fx is continuous function in its domain, then at least one maximum or one minimum must lie between two equal values of fx. Maxima and minima occur alternately, that is between two maxima there is one minimum and vice versa. If fx tends to infinity as x tends to a or b and f dash x equals to 0 only for one value of x, say c, between a and b, then fc is necessarily the minimum and the least value. If f dash x tends to minus infinity as x tends to a or b, then FC is necessarily the maximum and the greatest value. Now let us take some examples using second order derivative. So let us take this question. Find all the points of local maxima and minima and the corresponding maximum and minimum values of the function fx is equal to minus 3 by 4 x to the power 4 minus 8x cube minus 45 by 2x square plus 105. So first of all, we have to find the critical points. For critical points, we require f dash x. So this is my f dash x. For critical points, f dash x equals to 0, right? Now we'll factorize this. So my points are 0, minus 3, minus 5, right? So these are the points which will yield me local maxima or local minima points. Now we will find f double dash x because we are using second derivative test, okay? So it will become minus 9x square minus 48x minus 45. If I substitute f double dash, first I'll take 0. I'm getting minus 45, which is less than 0. So whenever my f double dash x is less than 0 at the critical point, it becomes the point of maxima. So this implies x is equal to 0 is point of maxima. And what will be the corresponding maximum value? I will substitute this in fx. So the corresponding maximum value is 105. Okay. Now we will check for x is equal to minus 3, whether it is a point of local maxima or minima. We will substitute x is equal to minus 3 in f double dash x. Okay. So we are getting 18, which is greater than 0. It means x is equal to minus 3 is point of minima. And what will be my minimum value? F minus 3 will be my minimum value. Substitute in fx minus 3. If you solve it, you will get, right? Similarly, we will check for x is equal to minus 5, whether it is a point of local maxima or minima. X is equal to minus 5. We will substitute in f double dash x. So x is equal to minus 5 is point of maxima. And maximum value we'll find out by substituting f minus 5. After solving, we'll get. So my local maximum value at x is equal to minus 5 is 295 by 4. Okay. So let us check this question. If fx is equal to a log x plus bx square plus x has extreme values at x is equal to minus 1 and at x is equal to 2, then find a and b. So what does that mean? It attains extreme values, means it attains its maximum or minimum value at x is equal to minus 1 and at x is equal to 2. So what we are given, we have been given f dash minus 1 is equal to 0 and f dash 2 is equal to 0. We are going to utilize these two conditions and get two equations in a and b and find the values of a and b. So we have fx is equal to a log x plus bx square plus x. F dash x is equal to a by x plus 2bx plus 1. Now we are going to use this condition. So this implies minus a minus 2b plus 1 equals to 0. This is my first equation. Similarly, we'll get the second equation. So f dash 2 is equal to a by 2 plus 2b into 2 plus 1. And this is also equal to 0. So a plus a to b plus 2. This is my second equation, right? We will solve first and second, add both the equations. So this implies b is equal to minus 3 by 6, which is nothing but minus 1 by 2, right? Substitute the value of b in one of the equation. This implies a equals to 2, okay? So let us check out this question. Show that the maximum value of 1 by x to the power x is e1 by e, right? So first of all, to find the maximum value, we should know the point of maxima. So we have y is equal to 1 by x to the power x. Function raised to the power function, we always use logarithm differentiation, right? So log y equals to x log 1 by x, which can be written as minus x log x, right? Now we'll find the derivative of this. So 1 by y dy by dx equals to Product rule will use x upon x plus 1 into log x. So dy by dx is equal to minus y 1 plus log x. Okay, substitute the value of y, it will imply you 1 by x to the power x 1 plus log x, right? Now we have to find the double derivative, right, to check whether whatever point we will get will be maximum or minimum or not. So here itself I will do the double differentiation. 1 plus log x as it is will copy, dy by dx plus y by x, right? This is the double derivative of this function. I will substitute the value of dy by dx over here. So minus 1 by x to the power x 1 plus log x whole square, and the value of y is 1 by x to the power x. So this is my d2y dx2. Now I have to find the point of maxima or minima. So how we are going to find point of maxima or minima? So for max or minima point, what we are going to do, we will write dy by dx equals to 0, which implies this is my dy by dx, right? Minus y 1 plus log x equals to 0. Y cannot be equal to 0 for any of the value, right? So it means 1 plus log x should be equal to 0. So 1 plus log x equals to 0. This implies log x equals to minus 1, which implies x is equal to e to the power minus 1 or equals to 1 by e. So now we have got x is equal to 1 by e, and let us check whether this is a point of maxima or point of minima. So we'll substitute in d2y dx2, right? So d2y dx2 at x is equal to 1 by e. So let us substitute here. So it will become e to the power 1 by e, right? 1 plus log 1 by e, right? So it will become 1 minus log e whole square plus e 1 by e, right? Log e is 1, so 1 minus 1 will become 0. So it will imply us minus e to the power 1 by e, which is less than 0, means we are getting a maximum value at this point. So it means x is equal to 1 by e is point of local maxima, right? Now we have to find the maximum value, so we'll substitute in this function. So maximum value will be equal to f 1 by e, which is nothing but equal to 1 upon 1 by e to the power 1 by e. So e to the power 1 by e, right? So the next topic is absolute maxima or minima value. So till now we were discussing about the local maxima or minima value. What do you mean by local maxima or minimum value? Means we are talking about the maximum or minimum value in the immediate neighborhood or at that point. Say for example, if I am getting the maximum value at x is equal to c, it means I am talking about the immediate neighborhood, right? A function can have n number of maximum or minimum value. It can be the case also in some cases your minimum value may be greater than the maximum value. So however, if we have a function fx which is differentiable and continuous in the closed interval ab, then we can talk about the absolute maximum and minimum value which we will achieve at the stationary points or at the end points of the interval. So how we'll get? First of all, we will calculate the stationary points, and then say for example my stationary points are c1, c2, c3, and then we will calculate fa, fc1, fc2 and so on, and fb. Out of this, whichever value is maximum will give me absolute maximum value, right? And whatever is the minimum value out of these values will be my absolute minimum value. Is that clear? So let us check out this question. Find the maximum and minimum values of fx is equal to x plus sine 2x in the interval 0, 2 pi. Now listen viewers, here they have given maximum and minimum value. In the previous question it was given local maxima and local minimum value. So whenever it is given maximum and minimum values and interval is given to you, we'll always calculate the absolute maximum or absolute minimum value, right? So first of all, we'll calculate our stationary points. So f dash x is 1 plus cos 2x into 2 using the chain rule. F dash x equals to 0. So 2 cos 2x equals to minus 1. Cos 2x equals to minus 1 by 2. Come to this quadrant section. Add sugar to coffee. In these quadrant, my cos is negative, right? So we can find out the value. Right? These can be the two values of 2x. So by x can be pi by 3 or 2 pi by 3. So now we have to calculate the value of fx at 0, 2 pi, pi by 3 and f 2 pi by 3. Right? Let us find out. f0, 0 plus sine 0, 0. f2 pi, 2 pi plus sine 4 pi, it will be equal to 2 pi, right? f pi by 3 plus sine 2 pi by 3 will be equal to pi by 3 plus what will be the value of 2 pi by 3? Sine pi minus pi by 3. Sine 180 minus theta. Second quadrant, sine is positive, right? So what will be the value? Pi by 3 plus root 3 by 2 and f 2 pi by 3. So pi by 3 plus sine 4 pi by 3. What does that mean? Pi by 3 plus sine pi plus pi by 3. Third quadrant, sine will be negative. So it will be pi by 3 and third quadrant my sine is negative. So minus root 3 by 2. Now let us check the minimum value. Minimum value will be 0. So it means absolute minimum value will be at 0. And what is that absolute minimum value? It is 0. Now we have to check what will be my absolute maximum value. So check whichever is giving you the maximum value. This is the point which is giving you the maximum value. So we will get the absolute maximum value at 2 pi, which is nothing but 2 pi. Is that clear, students? So this is the way you are supposed to find the absolute maximum and minimum value. Let us check this question. Find the maximum and minimum value of fx is equal to x to the power 50 minus x raised to the power 20 in the interval 0, 1. So again we will find first the stationary points. So fx is equal to take out common x to the power 19. So 50x 30 minus 20 equals to 0. So this implies x is equal to 0 or 50x power 30 minus 20 is equal to 0. What does this imply? This implies x is equal to 20 by 50 to the power 1 by 30. Right? Now we have to find the values at 0, at 1 and at the point 2 by 5 raised to the power 1 by 30. Right? So f0. f0 is 0, right? f1 if we find out 1 to the power 50 minus 1 to the power 20, again it is 0. Okay? And now we will find f2 by 5 to the power 1 by 30. Is this step clear or not? So I have substituted in place of x 2 by 5 raised to the power 1 by 30. So I can take out 2 by 5 to the power 2 by 3 common. I am left here with 2 by 5 minus 1, right? So which is nothing but equal to 2 by 5 to the power 2 by 3 into minus 3 by 5. It means my absolute maximum value is 0 and absolute minimum value is 2 by 5 to the power 2 by 3 into minus 3 by 5. So next topic is applied problems on maximum minima. So let us have a quick look on the formulas. So guys, let us look at these questions. Find the two positive numbers x and y such that x plus y is equal to 60 and xy cube is maximum. These type of question on applied problems on maximum minima come for 6 marks in different codes. Okay, so let us check this. So we have been given the relation x plus y is equal to 60 and we have to find the value of x and y in such a way that xy cube is maximum. It means I have to, whatever has to be taken as maximum or minimum is to be differentiated, right? So how we are going to solve it? We will take p is equal to xy cube. Another relation we have been provided as, so I am going to convert this into one variable, right? So I will find out the value of x from here and substitute in this p. Now dp upon dy. Now to get the critical points, what we are going to do, we are going to keep dp by dy equals to 0. So we can take out 4y square common. So we are left with 45 minus y equals to 0. This implies y is equal to 0 and y equals to 45, right? Now to check out of these which is my point of maxima, we have to take the double derivative test, right? So it means I am going to differentiate this quantity again. Now if we find, add 0, it will become 0, right? And now we'll find it 45. So what we are getting here? So y equals to 45 is point of maxima. What will be the value of x? X is 60 minus 45 means 15. So if I have x as 15 and y as 45, I'll get xy cube as maximum value. Is that clear? Now let us check one more question. So let us check this question. Show that of all the rectangles inscribed in a given circle. Given circle means we have been provided with the radius. Given circle. The square has the maximum area. So let us check it over here. Say for example, this is my circle and this is the rectangle. Here is center. This is A. This is 2x. This is 2y, right? So now, by Pythagoras theorem, in this triangle I can use the Pythagoras theorem, right? So what I will get? I will get x square plus y square is equal to a square. What does that imply? That implies y is equal to root a square minus x square. Since area is maximum, area will be equal to 2x into 2y, which is nothing but 4xy, right? Now, whatever is maximum or minimum is to be differentiated. It means I have to differentiate a, but I have two variables over here. So I'll change one of the variable using this equation. I have already calculated the value of y over here. So it means a is equal to 4x root a square minus x square, right? So I can write this as 4x a square minus x square to the power half. Now I will find out dA by dx, which is nothing but we'll use the product rule. So 1. Now I'll differentiate this part. So plus x into 1 by 2 a square minus x square to the power minus half into minus 2x, right? So I am left with 4 a square minus x square root a square minus x square, basically which is nothing but equal to 4 a square minus 2x square upon root a square minus, right? Now to get the critical points, dA by dx should be equal to 0. So dA by dx equals to 0. What does that imply? 4a square minus x square is equal to 0, which implies x is equal to a by root 2. Now I have to check whether my a by root 2 is point of maxima or not. For that, what I have to do? I have to do the double differentiation. Okay. So I have to differentiate this quantity again, right? So we have to find d2a upon dx2, which is equal to, this will become right and denominator will be written as it is, and we have to find the differentiation of this. So minus 4x, right? 4 I can write outside, minus numerator as it is, and I have to differentiate now the denominator. So half a square minus x square to the power minus half into minus 2x. A square minus x square minus 4x minus minus plus x a square minus 2x square upon a square minus x square to the power 3 by 2. Now let us check by substituting this point whether I am getting a negative value or not. If I am getting a negative value means it will become a point of maxima. Now we are finding the value of the double derivative at the point x is equal to a by root 2. So let us substitute. So I am getting here a square by 2 minus 4a by root 2 plus a by root 2 a square minus a square. So this will become your 0, right, upon a square minus square by 2 to the power 3 by 2, right. So basically I am getting minus 16 a cube upon 2 root 2 into a cube upon 2 root 2, which is less than 0, correct. So hence x is equal to a root 2 is point of maxima. Now I will find the value of y. So we had x square plus y square is equal to a square. So this is a square by 2 plus y square is equal to a square. This implies y square is also equals to a square by 2. So y is equal to a by root 2. So the sides of rectangle AB is equal to 2x means 2, a by root 2 means root 2a, and BC is also equal to root 2a. In that case my ABC becomes a square. So let us check this question now. Find the volume of a largest cylinder which can be described in a sphere of radius r, right? So we have a sphere, in that my cylinder is inscribed. This is the height of the cylinder and here will be somewhere, this is the radius of the sphere. This will be h by 2, this will be h by 2, and this is the radius of the cylinder. Let r be the radius of cylinder and h be the height. Talking about the volume of the cylinder. So what is the volume of the cylinder? Pi r square h. In that case we have two variables, right? But we can deduce a relation from this. What relation we can deduce? We can deduce r square is equal to r square plus h square by 4, correct? From here I can find out the value of the radius of the cylinder in terms of the radius of the sphere, right? That's what we have been doing in other questions also. And whatever is given, always remember students, whatever is given, that is always constant, okay? So it means here the radius of a sphere is given to us, that will be constant. So I have, so now I will find dV by dH. So what I am getting? R square minus 3h square by 4. Okay. Now for critical points, dV by dH is equal to 0. 3h square by 4 equals to r square. What does that imply? H is equal to 2r by root 3. Clear? Now I will find the double derivative to check whether this is my point of maxima or minima. So d2v by dh2, which is nothing but equal to pi minus 6h by 4. It will be less than 0 at h is equal to 2r by root 3, correct? So now I have to find the maximum volume of the cylinder. So I'll substitute the value of h in this function. So v is equal to pi r square minus, let us substitute here, 2r by root 3 whole square into 2r by root 3, correct? So pi r square minus r square by 3 into 2r by root 3. It gives me pi 2r square by 3 into 2r by root 3 which is nothing but 4 by 3 root 3 pi r cube. This is the volume of the largest cylinder which can be inscribed in a sphere of radius r, right? Let us check this question. A jet of enemy is flying along the curve y is equal to x square plus 2. A soldier is placed at point 3, 2. What is the shortest distance between the soldier and the jet? So let us take xy as a point at which the enemy plane is flying. Let xy be the position of the enemy plane. So now distance between the enemy plane and the soldier, right? Let d square is equal to z, right? So z is equal to x minus 3 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square. What does that imply? If my d is minimum, d square will also be minimum, so I can take d square as z. Now I have to find the shortest distance. It means I have to find the minimum distance, correct? So what I am going to do, I have in two variables, I will convert into one variable using that curve equation. So I can write this x square plus 2 minus 2 whole square. So z is equal to x minus 3 whole square plus x4, right? Now dz by dx. So what it will become? 2x minus 3 plus 4x cube, right? Now I have to find the critical points. So this implies divide by 2. Now it is satisfied by x is equal to 1. So if I substitute 1, I am getting here 0. So x minus 1 is a factor, and if you divide x minus 1 with this equation, you are getting 2x square plus 2x plus 3 equals to 0, right? So it means x is equal to 1, and with this I will get an imaginary root. Now to find out whether my point is minimum or not, what I am going to do, I will double differentiate this equation. So it will be greater than 0, x equals to 1, right? So hence minimum distance. Now I have to find the point and I have to find the shortest distance. So let us find out the value of y. So how I can find out the value of y? I'll substitute in the curve equation. It's 3, right? Now I have to find the shortest distance, means I'll substitute the value of x and y in this equation. So d is equal to root 1 minus 3 whole square plus 3 minus 2 whole square. So it is root 5. So root 5 units is the shortest distance between the soldier and the jet. Okay. So basically what we are doing in these questions, first we will frame the equation, change it into one variable, differentiate it, get the critical point, and then check which critical point is giving you the point of maxima or minima, and then find the required value. Today we learned introduction to maxima and minima, local maxima and local minima, first derivative test for local maxima and minima, higher order derivative test, point of inflection, properties of maxima and minima, maximum and minimum value in a closed interval, applied problem on maxima and minima. That's all for the topic today. Stay tuned.